Hello, I'm Jonathan Field from PTFS Europe, and what's on my mind this week is the FOLIO data importing app. So FOLIO has a data importing app which allows you to take MARC files and other files and import them into FOLIO. And you can see I'm highlighting the data import app here, and you can see there's a selection of files that have already been previously imported with various statuses. But before we go ahead and actually drag and drop a file into the system here, let's just go across to the settings app and explain how this is set up in the background. So you can see there's a data import settings, and there's a group at the bottom here called Other. And this contains two things: the MARC field protection. So these are fields that you don't want to be overwritten at the point of import. So we've got some obvious ones selected here, the 001 and the 999, but you may want to add others of your own, of course. And then file extensions. So these are files that are allowed or not allowed to be imported through that app. So you can see that MARC files are specifically allowed, but MRK files, which are the MARCedit ASCII versions of the MARC files, the readable versions, they're blocked, and that's just to prevent you from accidentally trying to upload those in error. And above that, we have the profiles, and the profiles really work from the bottom upwards. So you start with field mapping profiles, they're attached to action profiles, then you bundle in match profiles, which go into the job profiles, which are the things that are actually used in the data import app. So let's start from the bottom and have a look at the field mapping profiles. So this explains how the fields would be mapped from the source records, so the records which you've exported from the other system or been given by your vendor, how those are converted into records that are going to end up in FOLIO. So let's just have a look at the print books create item. And this is one I've created previously, and you can see from this that what I've done is to map elements in FOLIO to tags in the incoming record. So here the barcode will be found in a $952P. The class number, the call number will be found in $952.0, and so it goes on. The notes field in $Z, and so it goes on. So we can map that, and we can map that at either level, the item level, the holdings level, or the instance level. So the instance level is in effect the title level, holdings level is the call number level, the library level, and then the item level is the item characteristics itself. So you can see I've created three of those, one for each level, and I've mapped information at each of those three levels. Now they come together in the action profiles, and you can see I've created a matching instance, holding, and item profile for each of these. So again, if we just have a look at the item profile, you can see it pulls in and uses that associated mapping profile that I created earlier. And really all this does is tell you what action is going to be performed on that record. And there's only a choice, you only really have a choice of two actions. First of all, the ability to create a record or the ability to update a record. And in this case, I'm not interested in updating, I'm simply creating records. Then you have the match profiles. So this determines how the incoming record is going to match against any records that might already be in the system. So this is, again, determines whether records will be overwritten or not. So I'm simply looking at the incoming MARC record at the 999 subfield C tag. So it's a fairly straightforward match rule, but you can actually set up some quite complex matching algorithms here that potentially will be useful. Then all three of these come together in the job profiles. And in the job profiles, you can see that I've created a job profile called print books create new record. So in this case, create a new record means creating the instance, the holding, and the item record. And you can see that is reflected here, that we're This is pulling together the action to create an instance, the action to create a holding, and the action to create an item record. And at the bottom here, you can see that some of the existing jobs are already using this job profile. So that's how it hangs together in the background. So putting that into practice, if I go back to the data import app, when I choose a file to import, I should be able to assign that job profile. And here's my file of records that I've created previously. So I've got some marked records, and here you can see my 952 tag. So this is my item information. You can see my 999 control number tags and so on. So I've only got a small number of records here, 6 records. And I'm just going to select the file that I created. So remember, it'll only allow me to import marked records. It'll reject MRK files if I accidentally try to import the MarcEdit version. And it's uploaded that, and now it's asking me which of those job profiles I want to use. So I'm going to use the one called Print Books Create New Record. And I can just check that that's correct. Yep, it's accepting marked records, and it's going to try and create information at all 3 levels. So let's run that. Yeah, are we sure? Yes, we are. And now we'll see on the left-hand side in a moment, you'll see a running job. And actually it's completed so quickly there that you can see it's already appeared in my list of completed tasks. And this is looking good because, there we go, it seems to have completed, and there's no errors, so that's hopeful. And with any of these jobs, we can click on them to find out more information. So let's just click on this one, and we can see that, yeah, all 6 of my records are created. And in fact, if we want to look in more detail, so this obviously have all been created correctly, but if I just perhaps have a look at this one, which was completed with errors, I've got a bit more information here about why it was discarded. So you can see out of these 6 records, 2 of them were discarded. And if I wanted to just go and have a look at some of these, I actually get quite a helpful sort of diagnosis as to what exactly went on during the import process. So, and again, broken down by instance, holding, and item. So we can see here, this is the source mark file itself. So this matches what we saw in MarcEdit. And you can see there's a little asterisk there, which indicates that's where the error was. And I can see that I was missing some data in my incoming record. So I can go back and fix that and perhaps attempt that import again. But the ones that I have imported, they're looking good. So let's just go and see if we can find these. So now it should be in my inventory app. So let's just go and have a look for perhaps this first one. What flower is that? Go into inventory, search for flower here. And there it is. What flower is this? And I'm hoping if we just have a look at this record, we should have all 3 levels created: the instance, the holding, and the item information. So here's the instance information. You can see it's all looking good. We've got some title information, catalog date. You can see the source is a marked record, and here's the holdings information. So it got loaded into the correct library with the correct class number. And here you can see is the item information. And again, that's been pulled through correctly from the item information, that source record. So it's fairly straightforward. The data import app is not really designed for doing large-scale data migration from one system to another, but it is very useful for importing smaller batches of records. So hopefully you found that useful, and we'll see you next time.